Rob and Tiffany Zeller of rural South Dakota were thrilled when their identical twin girls, Teagan and Taylor, were born in the summer of 2003. They also knew they'd have their hands full. They already had two girls, 3-year-old Monroe and 13-month-old Morgan.
The twins, when they were born, they were both 5 pounds each, and we thought they were really healthy. As time progressed, it became apparent that something wasn't quite right because I had had 2 prior to the twins.
The girls lagged in reaching developmental milestones and ate poorly, never progressing beyond the baby food stage. They were fussy and slept very little. Meal times were extremely stressful. The twins were fed separately to deal with the screaming, crying, and throwing of foods and utensils. Tiffany and Rob began having them tested at age 2 and got the diagnosis of autism when they were 3.
They were bloated and, black circles under the eyes and very underweight and always enjoyable, but just the stimming was around the clock. They slept maybe 2 and 3 hours at a time, and if one was sleeping, then the other was awake. It was just always that way. So there was constant tension, and when mommy and daddy are tired and siblings are frustrated, it's just almost impossible.
She was the saint that dealt with it on a day-to-day basis because my job and career required me to travel a lot. So I was gone. If I wasn't traveling, then I was going into the office. So we're talking me being gone 40 plus, and typically with travel, 60 plus hours a week. So knowing she was at home alone, dealing with that, and she is very strong personality, so she didn't want to reach out for help because honestly, when people came over, they were overwhelmed immediately anyway. They didn't know how to help.
Twins were with us at home until the age of 7.5. And when they became of school age, they were at dual schools, and quite difficult for the personnel there to manage the girls with outbursts and just nonverbal, still in diapers, acted a lot like 9-month-olds. In certain ways. So when we were approached about possibly having them down at CCHS, I always say it took me about 5 years mentally to get to the point where I could accept help and accept that maybe we couldn't do it on our own. But once I mentally got there, we were actually excited about the opportunity. Knowing that they'd be 90 miles away wasn't the easiest.
Taylor and Teagan were admitted to Children's Care Hospital and School in Sioux Falls on March 7, 2011. They were 7.5 years old, but appeared to be 4 or 5. Children's Care staff first went to work on their nutritional challenges with assessments by our registered dietitian, speech-language pathologists, occupational therapists, and behavior therapists. They ate only a very few pureed foods, limited even to certain brands. Teagan had texture and temperature aversions, food selectivity, and was unable to chew food or move it around in her mouth with her tongue. This made her susceptible to choking. Taylor was picky and had a food texture aversion, eating only pureed peanut butter and jelly. Meal times lasted over an hour, with little consumed and many difficult behaviors. After a thorough evaluation, Children's Care staff began treatment on March 24, 2011. The girls had the advantage of 24-hour care, with consistent therapy and teaching techniques. Teagan slowly developed chewing skills, and Taylor increased the number of pureed foods she would eat, gradually adding textures, and also learned to chew. Within a year, they progressed from pureed to chopped foods, and then to regular meals in all food groups.
My number one goal was they were not potty trained. They were still in diapers, to have them potty trained. And secondly, to have them eat like a normal child. And then thirdly, they're nonverbal, so just getting them to be able to use any type of words was our goal. I also said too, I remember when they were when they were 1 and they started therapies outside of CCHS, I just wanted them to be able to eat their birthday cakes so badly. And that happened at the age of 9, 8.5, 9. So that was a huge joy for us.
The girls had their 10th birthday this past July with a birthday party at Children's Care, attended by family, friends, and staff members. The girls sat and fed themselves cake with utensils and ate regular pizza. No pureeing, no tantrums. The sunken eyes are gone, and the girls have grown closer to a typical height and weight. They are potty trained and are beginning to use words and other means to communicate. They are also learning appropriate interaction with other children. Their sisters and younger brother Zach enjoy visits with the twins. They no longer resent the energy the girls once sapped from their family.
Honestly, by the time we got them into here, I started to lose some hope that maybe too much time had passed. We wouldn't be able to retrain them on the proper, being able to act properly and appropriately in a school setting. That was my biggest concern, is them being able to actually perform and be able to do that. And then just learn basic life skills, which they picked up on very quickly, in my opinion, once they had the structure needed. But I really have to thank our school district for taking a look outside of, their budgets, their specialty people that they have, and saying, what else can we do? And when Mr. Benson came back with this as an option and what we had to do to make it happen, that was, again, life-changing for us. So very thankful for dual school as well as Children's Care for making this happen.
Children's Care gave the Zellers back their lives and continues to help their daughters reach their full potential. Teagan and Taylor are learning to communicate through the picture exchange communication system and are trying more words to communicate their wants and needs. They are able to do basic self-care with limited assistance. They have a long way to go with behavioral and communication skills, but they have worked hard and have come so far.
When I think about Children's Care, I wish more families could have the opportunity that we have had. Having the kids here has affected us immensely. We were a mess when we moved them in here. And obviously one child affects the entire family. Well, we had two. And so Children's Care has been our biggest blessing. Having two disabled children, not fun, but it's the hand we were dealt. We love the girls, we miss the girls, but could not be where we are today as a family without Children's Care. So blessed.
For in my world, in my dreams, I am not so different. I'm just me.
Unlocking potential, improving lives. Children's Care, Hospital, and School.
In my dreams.